Hi everybody, it's Gerald Donovan, the Grand Seiko guy, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to take a look at a Grand Seiko 6245-9000 case. Now here is one example of a 6245-9000. This dates from December 1966. And one of the things with, it's always been a little bit of a puzzle to me, at least, in terms of the finishing quality of the vintage Grand Seikos in cap gold is it normal? Is something like this close to the original in terms of the case finishing, or has this been extensively polished over time? This one is actually a pretty good case. You can see we've still got pretty sharp definition on the lugs here and all the surfaces and the different facets. It's taken a bit of a knock there. But this is pretty good in terms of how you see cases out in the wild on these old pieces. But recently we had the opportunity to acquire something rather special, which is this. And this is was clearly manufactured for use as a spare part. We have the case, again, it's from a 6245-9000, which we'll see when we flip it. And also when we flip it, I'm not going to do it yet for a reason that you'll see later on. Also, this dates from 1966, but from May. So I suspect this was probably produced right at the beginning of the production run for the vintage Grand Seiko 6245s, and was promptly sealed up in a little baggie. You can see it's been heat sealed here. There's the slight remnants of the Seiko branding on the bottom of the bag there. And then stuck in a drawer and forgotten about for 53 years and 5 months. The seal is not perfect, and you'll see what's happened with that. There's a slight split in the bag here, because as you see when we look at this case, when we move it around, it is very tarnished. Now that tarnish, I know from experience, would come off very easily with sort of soft application of a standard jewelry cleaner, but with this one we're not going to do it. If we flip it over, you can see the case back looks very different, and the reason for that is this still has its original film protector on the case back. This purple film, I believe, was actually probably put on certainly up until obviously this case, and possibly later. Seiko applied this purple film to protect the case back, and then the film would be taken off either for the customer or by the customer when they bought the watch. We've seen in an outstanding Japanese collection an example of a Grand Seiko first full set with this same color purple back. So the purpose of this is to have a look and see just how good that original finishing was, and even while it's still in the bag, you can notice, if we look at the edge here, very sharp finishing and sharp lines, whereas on this example, which has obviously been worn and loved over its time, is a little soft there. So whether this is just the result of years and years of hand polishing, or has had some sort of machine polishing in the past, I really don't know. The dimensions are pretty similar, excuse me, in terms of the case thickness. But clearly this one is in absolutely immaculate condition, because it hasn't been touched since the day it was put in this bag, as I said, probably 53 years ago. So I'm just going to move this one to one side, and to get a better look at this, because I want to photograph it as well, and I'll add some photographs to the video, we're going to unseal this. So here we go. Let's get some scissors, and I'm just going to cut across the seal here. And for the first time in 53 years, human hands are going to touch this case. But I'm going to be very careful how I touch it. So here's the case out of the bag. It has the crystal on it, and it also, as I mentioned, comes with the crown. But as I'm going to manipulate this, and we'll see it a lot better in the video, we'll see just how good, even on the cap gold. So the cap gold, for those who don't know, is where there's a thick wrap of gold wrapped around the stainless steel case, and when we turn it over, we'll be able to see how thick that wrap is. Extremely sharp. Now what I'm going to try to do now is just manipulate this so that I pick it up purely touching the case back and crystal, so I'm not actually going to touch the case at all. Let's just see if we can zoom in as well and still focus. So there you can see obviously the tarnishing there, which I'm not going to try to do anything about, but just look at how sharp those facets are finished on the case. We can see that it's brushed between the lugs here, and just in absolutely incredible condition, as one would expect, because this is basically as mint as it's possible to find. And we'll have a look at a modern Grand Seiko in a moment to compare the finishing quality. I've seen, certainly, I've had examples in the past of an example in the past of the 6156 8040 special that was finished to an even better quality than this, I think. But as we'll see, the thing always to look out for when you're looking at a case and seeing, you know, how good is the quality of this finishing, is look at the line where two facets meet, and as the light moves, can you see just there's like a little white border around those two sides of that facet. So that's where you can see where it's not a completely perfect sharp edge on this, and we'll see exactly the same thing on modern Grand Seikos in both the official photographs and the one that I'm going to look at the moment. But I would say in terms of the actual quality of the finishing, obviously we have to look beyond the tarnish, as it is tempting to wipe that off, but I'm going to leave this exactly as it is. We can see the polish, the finishing on this is absolutely fantastic. Let's just flip it over and have a look at the case back. Now it's out of the bag. It was slightly, so there we can see the six. I just moved my hands just so we can catch the light a little better and see the 6245 9000 cap gold waterproof with a fantastic Seiko Lion, and the case number there 6500873. Okay, so that was the absolutely mint example of a 1966 case. Just going to pause the video and then put that back in its bag, and then I'll bring in the modern one. Okay, so here's a SBGA 143, I think it is. This is a Wacko limited edition of just 30 pieces from a couple of years ago, I think 2016, so 3 years ago. This watch is actually be available for sale. This is just from my private collection. Obviously it's a modern piece, so we don't feature it on the Grand Seiko guy, but I just wanted to use this. This is unpolished from new, and I just wanted to show you that we have this same sort of finishing. You see when I said when you move it in the light, whenever you see a line between two different parts of the two different facets of the case, and you see that line as a different color. So here we can see there's a dark line running around there. That's showing that those two surfaces, now you see it turns to white as you move it in the light. It shows that those two surfaces are not perfectly met at an edge, and that there's actually a slight bevel on the edge of it. So as I said, you do find vintage Grand Seikos, particularly anything with the hardened stainless steel case. So that would be some of the VFAs, the 6146 8010 and the 6156 8010. When you see those are when they're in mint condition, those are completely lacking any edge line like this. And also, as I said before, that example of the 6156 8040 that we had previously, where I showed a macro shot of the case edge, and you can see it's just an absolute perfect edge. So that's just looking at a modern piece. As I said again, if you look at any photographs of modern Grand Seikos that you'll see published in all the official photographs, you will see the same thing. And certainly I think any claims that Seiko or Grand Seiko didn't have the ability to finish their watches as well as they do today, back in the vintage era, I think is certainly subject to question, given the evidence that we can see from the actual pieces. So there you go. So I'm gonna photograph this. I have to think of a way of photographing it without wrecking that fantastic film sticker on the back. and then I'll share the photographs on Instagram, and I'll also insert some photographs into this video. So there you go, an untouched for 53 years replacement case for a Grand Seiko 6245 9000. And let's just move that out of the way, I don't need that anymore. So I hope you found this video interesting. It's very rare to get an opportunity to see, you know, what these pieces were originally like. Not quite sure what we're going to do with this. I think maybe put it away in a drawer and look after it for another 50 years. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.